There's a woman who takes this same route to work every day, same train, same platform, same coffee in the same hand. But she notices things. She notices the exact moment the light changes from gray to gold at 6:42 in the morning. She knows the name of the barista who always spells her name wrong on purpose. She has a favorite bench she's never sat on. She just likes knowing it exists. Nobody would look at her life from the outside and call it extraordinary, but she moves through it like it is. That is what we're talking about today. If you're new here, I'm Ara, and I help women build quiet confidence, turn their inner critic into an inner coach, and start living as their future self right now. If that resonates with you, please hit that subscribe button and join a community of women who strive to live their best lives. Now let's get into it. The phrase romanticize your life, it gets thrown around a lot online. And honestly, most of what you'll find is aesthetic. Nice linen, journaling in the golden hour, croissants. And I'm not here to knock any of that. Matter of fact, I think all of those things are wonderful, but I want to go deeper because I think there's something genuinely powerful happening underneath the pretty pictures. And most people, they miss it. When you romanticize your life, really do it, not just for Instagram, you develop something that I think is one of the rarest qualities a person can have, and that's quiet confidence. Not the loud kind, not the guy at the party telling you about his wins, not the influencer performing success. Quiet confidence is the version where you walk into a room and you're not looking for anything from it. You're already okay. You already have a world inside you that's worth living in. Today, I want to show you exactly how that connection works and then give you a real list of ways to actually build this. Some of them take 30 seconds, some take months, and a few of them are going to really surprise you. Let's get into it. Why romanticizing your life builds quiet confidence. Here's the psychology that most romanticize your life content it skips. Quiet confidence is, at its core, a relationship with yourself. It's the felt sense that you are interesting, that your inner world has value, that you don't need external drama or validation to feel alive. Most people don't have that, and it's not because they're broken. It's because they've never been taught to author their own experience. We're trained to be, consumers of experience, to wait for the weekend, the vacation, the relationship, the achievement, the event that will finally make life feel like something. Romanticizing your life is the practice of refusing that waiting. It's the deliberate act of saying, this moment right now is the material. I'm the one who decides if it's worth something. And when you do that consistently, when you practice finding meaning, beauty, ritual, and texture in the ordinary, your brain starts to change. Literally, you build a neural habit of noticing what's rich in your surroundings rather than scanning for what's missing. And here's the confidence part. A person who has a rich inner experience, they don't need approval. They're not hungry for it. They're full. That's what people sense when they meet someone with quiet confidence. It's not arrogance, it's satiation. It's someone who has already been living well in private. So this isn't about aesthetics. This is about a practice of self-authorship that accumulates over time into a person who trusts themselves and feels genuinely at home in their own life. Okay, let's talk about how to actually do it. I want to start with the ones that cost you nothing but your attention. Number one, name your hours, not in a planner way, but in a story way. When you wake up and you're about to do something really ordinary, give it a name in your head. Not making coffee. How about my morning ritual? Not the commute. How about my personal thinking time? It sounds small, but it isn't. Language, it shapes perception. And when you name something, you signal to your brain that it actually matters. And things that matter, they get noticed, not just endured. Number two, pick a signature sensory detail and be loyal to it. This one is quiet, but it's potent. I want you to choose one sensory thing that will anchor your days. Maybe it's a candle you only light in the evenings, or a specific playlist only for Sunday mornings, or a mug you love and use every single day without exception. The power here, it isn't the object, it's the consistency. You're creating a through line in your life, a signature, and every time that you experience that thing, some part of you recognizes, I have a life with patterns that I've chosen. I made this. That's a subtle act of self-possession. Number three, narrate one thing per day like you're describing it to someone that you really love. This is the one people kind of feel a little silly about until they actually try it. once a day, just once. Look at something in your life and describe it in your head as though you were writing it down for someone who would care. The way the shadows fall in your kitchen, or the sound of the city at 11 o'clock at night, or the way your dog turns 3 circles before ever lying down. You're practicing the literary gaze, the skill of a novelist who finds the whole world interesting. Over time, this is going to become your default lens. And a person who finds the world interesting, they're never boring to themselves. A person who is never boring to themselves does not need other people to make them actually feel alive. Number 4, have at least one ongoing low stakes obsession. It's not a hobby that you perform, it's a genuine, probably slightly irrational fascination with something small. The history of fonts, whether birds remember specific humans, the exact chemistry of why bread smells the way it does. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you have a corner of the world that you know really well, that you return to, that no one asked you to even care about it. Okay? That kind of self directed curiosity is confidence building in the quietest possible way. It says, I follow my own interest. My mind goes where it wants to go. I love that. Number 5, this is a big one. Stop fast forwarding through transitions. We're all really good at mentally skipping the in between, the waiting for the meeting to start, the walking from the car to the door, the 5 minutes before we actually fall asleep. But I want you to just try to actually be in those transitions instead of through them, not meditatively and not effortfully, just present. You'll find an enormous amount of your life that actually lives there. And a person who can be present in the transitions is someone who has, in effect, more life than someone who's always waiting for the next scene. Now, here are the ones that cost something and pay back more. Number 6, build one real recurring ritual and protect it. It's not a habit, it's a ritual, and the difference is meaning. A habit, that's brushing your teeth. A ritual is maybe the Sunday afternoon you always spend at a specific cafe reading something that has nothing to do with work. You have a specific order at a specific table if you can get it. Rituals require effort because life will try to cancel them. Protect this one like it's a meeting that you can't miss, because what you're doing, whether you know it or not, is building a personal culture, a set of practices that belong only to you. People with a personal culture, they have an identity that doesn't depend on what they're currently achieving. That is quiet confidence at its most structural. Number 7, learn something useless beautifully. Pick a skill with no career application, no obvious social payoff, and no efficiency argument for acquiring it. Maybe it's bookbinding or celestial navigation or botanical illustration, dyeing clothes with natural pigments, playing one song on an instrument that you never plan to perform. The uselessness, that's the point. When you learn something that serves nothing but your own delight, you're practicing the radical belief that your enjoyment is justification enough, that you don't have to earn the right to be interested. It's all you. That belief, practiced over time, is the foundation of quiet confidence. Number 8, read one biography of someone whose life genuinely moves you. It's not a self help book, not a celebrity memoir, a real biography of someone who lived deeply, maybe a naturalist or a cartographer or a sculptor, a chef, maybe even a composer, someone whose relationship with their craft made their life into something with shape and weight. Read it slowly, let it work on you. What happens is this: you start to absorb almost unconsciously a model of a fully inhabited life. And your own daily choices, they start to feel like they have stakes, like you too are in the process of building something that will have been worth it. Number 9, create something with no audience in mind. Write a letter that you're never going to send. Cook a meal that's more ambitious than your guests would require. Arrange your room just for yourself, the way you actually want it, without worrying what it signals to anyone else in the world. The confidence that comes from this is specific. It's the quiet knowledge that your taste and effort exists independent of validation. You don't need an audience to justify the act of making. That is a profound kind of freedom, and it shows. I think these next ones, they might surprise you a little bit. So number 10, I want you to grieve the ordinary things. This one, it might go against the usual advice because we're told to focus forward, to not be sentimental all the time. But I'd argue that the people with the richest inner lives have given themselves permission to feel the weight of ordinary endings. Maybe it's the last time that you'll ever drive a certain route, or the last summer you'll spend in your apartment, or a friendship that quietly is winding down, or a version of yourself that you're outgrowing. When you let yourself feel those small griefs, really feel them, not wallow, but acknowledge, you are saying this mattered. And things that mattered, they're worth feeling. The side effect, though, of taking your ordinary life seriously enough to grieve its passing is that you actually begin to treasure it while it's happening. The attention that you give endings teaches you how to pay attention to the beginnings and the middles and all the in betweens. Number 11, become someone who knows where they are. Learn the geography of where you live, not as a fact, but as a felt relationship. Know which direction the river runs. Know what used to exist where the parking lot is now. Know the name of the hill that you can see from your window. This is one of the most underrated forms of self possession that I know. A person who is genuinely oriented in the physical space carries themselves a little bit differently. They're not just passing through the world, they inhabit it. They have a place, and that physical groundedness, it translates into a kind of social and psychological groundedness that is subtle and unmistakable. Number 12, repair things. When something breaks, a piece of clothing, a piece of furniture, a relationship, maybe try to fix it instead of replacing it. Not always, but sometimes. There's a Japanese practice of filling cracks in pottery with gold. It's a famous version of this actual idea, but the everyday version is just this. A person who takes the time to repair something is a person who believes that the original thing was worth keeping. And that same care turned inward becomes self compassion, self continuity, the sense that you are someone worth maintaining. That is a deeply quiet, deeply confident thing. Here's what I want to leave you with. The world is going to try to keep selling you the idea that your life becomes interesting when certain things happen to it: the right job, the right relationship, the right amount of money, the right number of followers. And some of those things, they matter. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But quiet confidence, the kind that other people feel when they're near you, the kind that doesn't collapse when things go wrong, doesn't come from those things. It comes from a long, slow, private practice of taking your own life seriously, of deciding that right now, on a regular Sunday, with nothing remarkable happening, that you are still someone living a life worth paying attention to. When you romanticize your life, you are not deluding yourself. You're authoring yourself. You are choosing to be the kind of person who finds meaning rather than waiting for it to be delivered. Do that long enough and become someone who doesn't need the world to confirm their worth. You've already confirmed it in 10,000 small private moments that no one else will ever see, nor do they need to. And that, honestly, is the most beautiful thing I can think of. Yeah, it really is. So I'd love to know which of these resonated most for you. Maybe drop it in the comments. And if you know someone who's stuck in the waiting, stuck in the my life will be good when loop, send this to them. It might be exactly what they need to hear. I want you to take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.